Hello, everyone. Political reporter James Walker here. Hello, and I'm here with my colleague Laura.
Hello, Laura Pollock.
We are here in the National Studio discussing some of today's top stories. Number one, there's a coup, or is there a coup, is the question mark, I guess. The Labour government is in shambles, is certainly something that we do know. Last night, several outlets reported speculation around the Prime Minister Keir Starmer's leadership. Senior figures in a bit of a briefing war, briefing that Health Secretary Wes Streeting is positioning himself to challenge his boss for the top job. How did you hear about this, Laura? What do you think?
How did I hear about it? Well, I actually think it's a really good question asking, is it a coup or is it not? Because I think that's what everyone's actually wondering. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The coup or the accusation of a coup? I heard about it last night. The reports started to come out. The Guardian had quite a big brief, and the Telegraph. But I actually had just finished listening to another podcast where Wes Streeting had appeared, and he had been speaking to the newsagents, and they had actually put to him, "Do you get annoyed when people suggest you could be Prime Minister?" And I remember I listened to that podcast a few days ago, and I thought to myself, well, that's a bit odd, because I've not heard anything about that. So I think it's been weeks in the making, I think, this whole rumbling.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously been enormous disquiet around Keir Starmer as Prime Minister for ages now. I mean, it's a deeply unpopular government, it's a deeply unpopular Prime Minister. So there's always going to be whispers as to what might be next, I think. Now, whether something is imminent, I'm not sure. I mean, for certain, Wes Streeting, he is Health Secretary, so he obviously speaks on the issue of health, but I think everyone's noticed over the last couple of weeks that he's kind of stepped outside of his brief. He's talking more about Gaza, he's talking more about various other things, and he's been putting a bit more of a left-wing bent. I mean, it's not very difficult to put more of a left-wing bent than this current Labour government, but yeah, he's going a wee bit more left-wing, so there's a lot of speculation whether he's trying to court the left wing of the Labour Party, and obviously there's all sorts of other information that's come out. As you say, the Guardian was reporting that senior UK government figures were telling them that 50 frontbenchers are willing to stand down if the budget upcoming is not received well, and currently the budget, I mean, it's probably not going to go down well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's hopeful about it, and I think that's part of the reason why action stations have been sort of equipped at the moment. But the Wes Streeting saying he's not doing it.
No, I mean he would do. He would do that.
But I think I don't know. He came out sort of. I mean, but the thing is as well, Downing Street knew that Wes Streeting was on the morning round of media this morning, so they knew they were putting him in a position to either deny or stand by these claims that they're maybe putting on him. And did you watch him on?
I did. I thought that he did remarkably well. I almost found it a bit suspect. I'm like, oh, is a double bluff, but no. I thought he did remarkably well in the sense that like he managed to deny it as he would, but also managed to do it with some element of humor. I think he's one of the more polished, if not the most polished of the senior Labour figures that we've got today.
He speaks well. He does speak well. That's just objective.
So regardless of what the intended, what the intention was with these briefings coming from Number 10, they have backfired spectacularly because Keir Starmer's position is diminished even further, and if anything, I'd say that Wes Streeting's has been elevated. Would you
Definitely,
agree?
he's I mean, people are saying, who's Wes Streeting? Yeah. People who didn't maybe know who he was now are wondering who this person is. I mean, last night I ended up going onto his Wikipedia because I thought, oh, actually, I kind of just want to see, like, what is this guy's background? Obviously, I knew his political career, but his personal life and his upbringing, I didn't realize his upbringing. He is quite an extraordinary story. And the way he as I was reading it, I could see how a campaign could be formed around him as an individual that has the charisma and the talent. Well, maybe not talent, but could at least portray talent better than Starmer can. Maybe before the May elections. maybe going into them.
I mean, if it carries on as it is, then I keep all cards on the table. Certainly, I mean, as you're saying, I think everyone was assuming that if there were to be a leadership challenge, it would be come May after poor results in the local English elections, poor results in Scotland, obviously with the Holyrood elections, and poor results in Wales also, which all seem to be very much on the cards. Yep. Certainly worse than a general election. So, but yeah.
God, the general, it seems so long ago.
Seems long ago,
and
May is around the corner. So we say, May. We were expecting it to be in May, but May is not that far away.
No.
So we shall see. But of course, all of this drama has huge implications. Speaking of Holyrood elections, for Anna Sauer, Scottish Labour leader, has he said anything yet, Laura?
He has not said anything. I mean, he might be saying something whilst we're recording. He's not said anything. He has been called out by the SNP to pin his colours to the mast and confirm whether he gives his vote back into Starmer. Obviously, during the general elections, he was like West Streeting, and probably like West Streeting is now as well, at least portraying that he is completely behind his leadership, and he took a bullet for him, sort of thing. But no, he's not said anything. I don't know if he will. I don't know if he'll just do what he does best at times and just bury his head in the sand and wait for it to pass and then say, "Oh no, I was always talking to him," and giving him a nudge and say, "You're a great guy" or something. So. I believe it was MSP Rona Mackay who basically said that Sarwar hung on the coattails of Keir Starmer during the general election, has spent the last year as an apologist for the worst of Labour's Westminster austerity. So, if you're backing him all the way until these briefings come through, but again, I also think of the relationship. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors, and definitely we know at least a little bit from behind closed doors when it came to Ian Murray, the former Scottish Secretary, being let go from cabinet. He was a pillar for Scottish Labour politicians, and he was a pillar of part of their campaign and their group. And the fact that Starmer let him go, we know that Anna Sarwar was very angry. So who knows whether he also is having doubts about his leadership, but he won't say it, of course.
Well, I don't think he will either. That being said, as the closest we get to next May, I mean, Anas has always made very clear, and he still does, that he thinks that he can become Scotland's next First Minister. I don't think many people take that very seriously at all, especially when you look at the polls.
But he does.
He does, and he's going to prove everyone wrong. He's going to prove us wrong by saying this. I will say that if he carries on backing Keir Starmer the way that he is, and if Keir Starmer's government carries on being as disastrous as it is, then he's got zero chance of being First Minister. Now, if he were to actually take a stand on some of these issues and actually stand up for Scotland on some of these issues, then perhaps he'd have a better chance at it. But that remains to be seen. But I honestly, I mean, part of me wouldn't perhaps be surprised, or at least I'd find it interesting to see whether, when we getting closer to the election, that we might actually see some divergence. If there's no divergence, then I think it's a very, very poor political move, because I think at a certain point you need to jump off the sinking ship, or you need to, jump onto a separate lifeboat, because that's the stage that we're at right now.
Who would you pin your colours to the mast?
Is that your question?
That's my question to you.
I don't know. Anna Sauer. Rogue? No.
He obviously my eyes
widen. No, that wouldn't even be technically possible. But it's difficult. I mean, I think, as we were saying, Wes Streeting has come off all the stronger off of, everything that's just happened. And I think that Labour are in serious need of an actually good communicator. I think that from a policy perspective, now, obviously, they came in within the context of a difficult situation. But that being said, they've also taken an enormous amount of decisions that have been incredibly unpopular. So from the policy standpoint, they haven't done very well. But what they've done even worse has been communicating perhaps some of the things that they have done well, but also communicating better the things that they have done badly and why they're doing them. So I think that the issue that the Labour Party have right now and the government has, it's not just a communication issue, but communication is a serious issue. So on that front, I think West Streeting would offer something a little bit better. I don't think that it would, they'd be able to reinvent the wheel thereafter, but it would offer something more. What do you think about some of the other names that have been thrown in the hat? I mean, I've heard Shabana Mahmood, obviously Home Secretary. I've heard
Rachel Reeves. Could you imagine?
I mean, she's even more unpopular than Keir Starmer.
She definitely.
Miliband, I've heard him Miliband.
God, could you imagine a return? Wow. That'd be quite extraordinary.
It would. Yeah, that's one word to put it.
And David Lammy.
David Lammy, obviously very senior figure. Again, I don't know if I can see it, but
I mean, I can't see any of them really. None of them have been doing it long enough where, as in, they have only been in leadership for a year. They've been in opposition much longer. So the fact to actually try and imagine any of them leading the country is very, very difficult. It took a while for the public to see Keir Starmer that way. So then to see all his folk around him in that way, none of them look prime ministerial yet, but the way that West Streeting handled himself today. But again, we can't forget what West Streeting has done in the past, and this rhetoric towards privatisation and stuff. So would that would be used by more left-wing part of the party to try and urge him not to do that. So then again, would he then be leaving his principles behind and all of this stuff?
No, indeed. And another name that I think we were discussing in the office earlier was, perhaps former Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner is, watching and waiting in the wings, thinking, I tell you what, not being a part of this mess might actually be better for my political future. Again, I can't really see a big return given the way that she left not that long ago, but probably not entirely unhappy about not being in the inner circle during all of this.
She won't be unhappy, but I can imagine she'd still be tired. She'd still be exhausted from what she went through, and that is it's kind of widely recognised that it was again a number 10 briefing that went against her. So she might be who knows, she might have given West Streeting a wee call and said, understand where you're at.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Should we move on to a story that we reported on yesterday? It's good news.
Oh, we splashed on it.
We splashed on it, indeed. We did splash on it.
Congratulations.
Oh, well, listen, it happens. It happens from time to time. You throw enough stories on the wall. It's a story that I've been reporting on. Well, not this particular one, but the larger story of the return of the Scotland to Europe ferry. It's something I've been reporting on for years now, really. And it's been a bit of a bugbear for me because it just seems like such a no-brainer.
Was it one of the first? I feel like it was one of the first sort of exclusives and stories, narratives you were sort of exploring when you first joined the team. Yeah,
no, certainly. I think it was definitely a story that I tried to carve out for myself because I actually used to use that ferry. Our listeners will probably not know that I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Luxembourg. My dad worked for the EU, and we used to come back to Scotland as often as possible because I was born in Scotland, and we would take the ferry to Rosyth from Zeebrugge in Belgium. That was the way we'd get over with the car, and spend 1 month, 2 months in Scotland during the summer. So there's a little bit of a personal story to that in the sense that it obviously left. It stopped in 2010, and then Scotland has not had a direct ferry link for passengers at least since 2010, and for freight since I think 2018. So there was certainly a personal element to that. But to give people a bit of background about what the story is, essentially it looks like the Scotland to Europe ferry is actually going to return. So as was mentioned, we haven't had one for years now. Scots have to go down to Newcastle, which seems a bit silly, really. But it looks like finally it might actually happen. There's been so many roadblocks, there's been so many delays over the last couple of years, which I've reported on exhaustively. I got them all
filed. Yeah.
Got them all filed back in my mind. I won't go through them because we've only got so much time, and people have attention spans. But essentially, one of the biggest roadblocks that to do with the border control post and being able to use one at Grangemouth, at least temporarily, perhaps the foreseeable, the legislative block on that, the Scottish Government has said that they're going to move past it, which is good news. And for the story, I spoke to the man who's kind of behind it all. He's probably even more frustrated, well, he's definitely more frustrated than I have been over the last couple of years. But he's finally quite actually optimistic. I had a call with him, and he was actually quite optimistic. And he set an actual date for it.
That is quite optimistic. That's quite a moment.
But you wouldn't give a specific date if you weren't at least vaguely optimistic.
So what is the date we can add to the
date is May 26, 2026.
To start the countdown.
Start the countdown. Happy days. Will you be using it, Laura?
I'd love to use it. During this summer, I went to Tallinn, and my sister and I got the ferry to Helsinki for the day. And I just loved it. And because I knew this was a story that we had been reporting on, and it's something that is so we live in an island. It's the number one thing. We live in an island. So the fact that mainland Europe, I was able to go from mainland Europe within a few hours to another country. I just was thinking, I would love it. So I will definitely be using it. It would be fantastic. Yeah. And plus it's better for them. It is better for the environment. Am I wrong? Or
it is.
Flying?
So I think that there's several different reasons why it's a bit of a no-brainer. For one, freight, let's say if you're traveling from Aberdeen, it shortens your journey in terms of how much you're emitting through that route, because they all had to go down to at least Newcastle or all the way down to Calais, so from that point of view, it's certainly better. It also it's just more convenient so it's good for the local economy as well. In Fife, it'll bring a huge amount of traffic that way. And obviously, if it becomes a bit more of a freight route, then there'll be a lot of investment into that as well. So in that sense, it is certainly a win.
Have you spoke to Fife locals about the
I did back in the day. I did a little trip over, and I did speak to some people, and they did like the idea of it making its return. Again, it puts Rosyth a bit more on the map as well. Definitely. Certainly. Although one thing I will say is that I think it has benefited. I'll ask you the question. Do you think it's benefited from the fact that there is a Holyrood election around the corner? Because it's been a bit of a roadblock for about 2 years.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
The Holyrood election is around the corner.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why have the Scottish Government just decided now whether to try and defeat this roadblock or back it or make any movement on it? So, I mean, the May election will be about May 6th, right? It's always around May. It's like the first week in May. So, for them to be pointing to in that month to have a launch of a ferry to Europe, that's a great look. It's a great campaign tool. So yeah, I would say so. It's definitely benefited, but then I just get frustrated by the politics of it, because this have been done 2 years ago?
I mean, I think all of the evidence would suggest yes. The same roadblocks that existed then exist now. The other one has got to do with funding. I know that they have to improve infrastructure. There are various other things to do with Brexit and border control, some of which are reserved, some of which are not. But generally speaking, the biggest roadblock was in the hands of the Scottish Government at this point in time. So that's why this is such a good, positive development. And people have been campaigning for this for years. SNP MP Douglas Chapman, obviously not the current MP. That's Graham Downey, who's continued good work on it actually. But yeah, we're hopefully there. But we shall see. We shall see.
Until it leaves the dock, that's when you'll probably believe it.
Indeed. Sail away. Our final story that we're going to discuss today is another story I worked on yesterday. Quite an interesting one, I think. It's not super high stakes in many ways, but it's something that I saw in a press release for the Glasgow Chamber of Commerce, and I had a bit of a question mark over it. Essentially, a Scottish shopping centre in that one of Scotland's largest shopping centres. I don't know if it's the largest. Silverburn,
I think it is. It's pretty big.
It's one off certainly, but Silverburn Shopping Centre in Glasgow / outskirts of Glasgow, depending on what you call
outskirts of Glasgow.
Or outskirts, is displaying one of Elon Musk one of his Tesla Cybertrucks, one of those beautiful,
I was about to say it.
beautiful cars. Yeah, stunning. Yeah, not a monstrosity at all. But yeah, they're displaying one of them in the shopping centre inside, which I thought was interesting, mainly because it's not road legal in the UK.
So why is it in a shopping centre?
So that's the question mark. So so when I saw it, I thought, okay, it's not road legal. My understanding is that like for safety reasons, for passengers, but also passers-by, I think because it's so bulky and angular, like it's a genuine threat to public safety.
Fair.
That you can't drive it. So in the release, it was sort of portrayed more as like this is good fun to have in the shopping centre. I think that the general manager was saying, that they like to provide a, quote, element of surprise and entertainment for visitors, and that their Tesla Cybertruck exhibition is the, quote, perfect example of that, calling it exciting, experiential, unlike anything most people have seen up close. I mean, on that front, I do understand that. Like, certainly it's better than a Ford Focus in terms of excitement factor. It's
Yeah, and most people in the UK
it's not a Ford
seen
Mondeo. It's something that people haven't seen before. So I understand that aspect of it. But the fact that it's not road legal and the fact that and then obviously there's big question marks because of Elon Musk as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And whether you're in essence promoting Elon Musk and his brand, which you are in essence, by displaying it in your shopping centre.
Is it going to be there over Christmas?
No, so I believe it's there for just a week.
Okay.
But no, so the story was essentially though that Patrick Harvey, the Scottish Greens MSP, used to be co-leader obviously until recently, hit out at the fact that it was being displayed. He highlighted the fact that Elon Musk, I almost forget the last controversial thing that he said or done, but the most recent one was that he said that civil war was inevitable in the UK, called the UK government, quote, tyrannical. It's a little bit ironic, I think, given some of the people and administrations that he's worked in, but there we go. But yeah, obviously the world's richest man. He supported far-right figures like Tommy Robinson. He's stumping up their legal fees. So by displaying...
Reportedly.
Yes, reportedly. You're essentially promoting that brand. So that's what Patrick Harvey was saying was problematic, or that should be questioned when it came to this being portrayed there. We'll be covering all of this at the National Disc, all of the drama when it comes to Keir Starmer and what I think a lot of people are thinking are not just eventual, but perhaps soon to be demise.